Since 2004, World of Warcraft has been a titan in the MMO world, with quite a few games attempting to surpass it and ultimately failing. But over the years, an enormous portion of the game's player base has expressed an interest in going all the way back to the beginning with legacy servers due to the game's current state. With all this talk about legacy servers, I thought we should take a look at the history of World of Warcraft and why the community wants to experience that again. First, we'll have to go all the way back 18 years ago to 1999. Around this time, some images leaked of a project that was supposedly being worked on by Blizzard. This project was what would someday become World of Warcraft. However, it looked like a completely different game. From a different interface to completely different cities and race models, the game is almost unrecognizable compared to what was eventually released. These images kind of put in perspective the amount of work Blizzard did on the game between 1999 and 2001. Around September of 2001, Blizzard made the announcement at ECTS in London that World of Warcraft was being worked on. After the success of Warcraft 2 and soon Warcraft 3, this gave their player base something huge to look forward to. There were two different trailers for the game, one of which they showed that year at ECTS. In the trailer, the world looked quite a bit different, and so did a lot of the races.
Beyond the gates of mighty kingdoms lies a vast, unexplored world. A world of honor. A world of mystery. A world of danger. The world of Warcraft.
In the other trailer, the game was similar to what Vanilla WoW would end up being, except for the layout of towns and the game UI itself. The races, however, looked pretty close to what they would end up being when the game released. In 2003, the World of Warcraft Alpha was being tested. Unfortunately, there's an extremely small amount of footage of this, and Blizzard themselves have stated that they don't have any of the code for the original Alpha anymore. Fortunately, there is a small amount of footage of the Alpha, and things look slightly different from the year between that and release. Finally, in November of 2004, World of Warcraft was released for North America, Australia, and New Zealand. With it came 8 races, 9 classes, 12 professions both primary and secondary, 16 dungeons, 2 raids, and 2 enormous continents, giving the player base an entire world to explore. In the span of the next year, Blizzard added more dungeons, players built up an in-game community with guilds, world bosses were added, the first legendary item ever was looted from a raid boss, and the honor system was introduced. Guild communities played a huge role in the game gaining popularity through infamous videos like Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do.
Alright, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
And the Onyxia wipe animation.
At 40%, you will stop dots. Until then, you will throw more dots. Throw more dots. More dots. More dots. Come on, more dots. Okay, stop dots.
This made the game explode in popularity after launch, and end up with around 7.5 million subscribers at the end of 2006. This was absolutely groundbreaking for Blizzard because their original hope was to have somewhere around 1 million subscribers to break even on making the game. A little under a year after release, Blizzard announced the first expansion, the Burning Crusade. Through the entirety of vanilla, players and guilds would grind out raids, level new characters to experience each class, and fight the opposing faction in World or Battlegrounds PvP. Looking back at all of this puts things in perspective as to why the player base wants and needs legacy servers. The game wasn't just about exploring the world and grinding out levels. It was about building a community, leveling with friends in massive areas that you'd come to know like the back of your hand, finding new pieces of gear and looking like a patchwork horror of armor, and not having to worry about checking your garrison every day. Vanilla World of Warcraft wasn't just a game to most people, it was an experience. Groups of friends were built off of the experience of hopping in Ventrilo or TeamSpeak and raiding, or maybe even just talking to other random players in the leveling area you were in, like Baron's Chat. World of Warcraft has always been a titan in the gaming industry, spawning many games with the title of WoW Killer. I, as well as a large portion of the community, hope that one day we'll get a chance to return to those days. But until then, we'll keep grinding.